Durance wants to talk. Alright, let's level up. Let's level up the Grim Mother first. Grim Mother, Grieving Mother. Alright. Very nice. Not worth it. Yeah, wound binding for sure. I want her to be able to heal a little bit. I mean, Durance usually has it covered, but...
What is it, Watcher?
Does what we learned of Wodica trouble you?
It stinks of her. It is justice, but if her greater purpose was to think Margaret would fall prey to such deceit. And Aethys. Weidwin had always claimed to be invading Deerwood to free it. What if it were true? What if he had come to stop Wodica's plot before it began? Surely Aethys earned his death at Godhammer Citadel, but not for those reasons. Not to keep him silent. If such a thing has brought about this chaos, must we always be tools of gods? If Wodica and Margaret, if they are the cause of this, the Hollowborn, if the purges were never necessary, if Aethys was fighting back...
Then your Godhammer didn't save the Deerwood, it doomed it.
So many lies. And Wodica, perhaps she is the next god to fall beneath the Godhammer.
It would have been better had you been spared this knowledge.
No, I am glad to have walked this far with you, seen this truth. Perhaps it was what I was meant to see, with a Watcher's eyes. All these dances of words and intrigues, machines of men, twisted, ripping the souls of children, and by the gods, the goddess of justice. If I could end her like Aethys, Margren burned her once. One can do so again. Wodica, she must answer to her own justice.
Justice or revenge?
Anyone with a shred of spirit seeks both justice and punishment. It burns in the heart of anyone who lives. All seek it. If the world does not balance, we all drown in the oceans. And the gods would not care. Margaret, she must be redeemed. And punishing Wodica, that will serve.
Do we know that Margaret was not a willing accomplice?
Is this some final joke at my expense? To test my faith further? And why would you think that, Watcher?
You said you left Ashfall without telling anyone of your departure. The others who made the Godhammer, they all died, didn't they? That's why I saw their symbols fade from your staff.
If all you have are questions, then I have enough of those. She is a bitch of a goddess, to be sure. But even a whore only goes so far in crossing those she serves.
You said you left Ashfall without telling anyone of your departure.
You answer a question with a question. Then why did I feel her disappointment at Halgot? Why were we shamed?
Because she was trying to kill you.
Kill me? She is a goddess. I still drink from her burning breasts, Watcher. If she wished me dead, she could trace me to my source and kill me.
Maybe not, just a feeling.
That is all you have, a feeling. If feelings provoked me to say every thought that crossed my mind, get gone and leave me to my thoughts.
Alright, brother. Sounds to me like Margaret was trying to cover up. Oh, man. Sounds like a big conspiracy.
Of course. Stop right there!
All right, Connor?
Have you ever looked up and felt a sudden surprise at where you are? I think it's just sunk in that I'm a year out from home.
Only every day. You'll get used to it.
You're in the wrong city, Inquisitor. Did you think you wouldn't be recognized here, in your old home? I've seen your trials with my own eyes.
I've seen you light pyres with good people tied to them. People I'd known many years. He seizes you by the throat. Whether real or imagined, you cannot tell. They deserve your confession. He raises the point of his sword, holding it a hair's breadth from your eye.
Suros, what are you doing?
Startled, the soldier releases you immediately and turns to face the speaker, a woman in a plain wool tunic, fully a head shorter than he, but somehow seeming to tower over him. You have seen this woman's face before, but from afar, bloodied and burned as she laid stretched across an iron wheel. At the moment, it is marked only with concern.
An assassin sent by the Inquisition, my lady, daring to approach our camp.
If he is so poor an assassin as to approach an armed guard in daylight, I should have nothing to fear. I would hear what this man has to say.
My own brother returned home. I never dreamed this day would come.
The Great Inquisitor dispatched me to spy on you. Are things as desperate as that over there? I'd have never known. I hope your next assignment is more stimulating. Listen to my lecture is dull work for a spy. I thought for sure you were lost to me forever when I learned that there was a declared Inquisition. It was a great relief to see our family was not so easily torn apart. Whatever your reasons, I've missed you these years. Having you here now, at a time when I'm surrounded by strangers, is a wonderful gift.
I would like for you to stay here in our camp as my guest.
My lady Ivara, I beg of you. This is an Inquisitor. This is a desperate attempt on your life. The only way it can succeed is if you allow it to.
This is a missionary, same as I was. Taught the wrong things as I was. If I can't have faith in one man's ability to reason, once he knows the truth, what hope do we have?
My lady, he admits being a spy.
That should make him less of a threat, wouldn't you agree? I have nothing to hide. All I see here is an opportunity to persuade someone who could help us. We have many former missionaries here. They are our most loyal, our most helpful. Many have died for us. These are not people we should be turning away. And if the Inquisition wants my life, they can have it. But they know as well as I do that my cause will not die with me. Come. We have much to talk about.
I guess maybe we reach it through Old Song? Yeah, I guess we'll check.
Hey, pig! Hey, pig! Woohoo, pig! Haha, look at him with his little tail.
Sit. Of course.
Point of no return, I'm assuming. Well, let's rest.
Have a moment to talk? A deer in the middle of Erd Glonfoth. And I wasted 5 years looking for it.
Surely you gain something from the experience. Besides corns and a bad case of spotted fever.
I can't help but wonder what any of this meant. Whether Persok's life with us even mattered when it could be covered up like tracks under new snow.
Civilizations are built upon the choices and passions of individuals from one lifetime to the next. Every life is meaningful.
Maybe you're right. But from down here, it's hard to see those designs.
True.
Enough about me. How about you? You feel like you understand the purpose of your search for Theos?
I need to know what happened in my past and why it still haunts me.
Be careful what you wish for. Can't unlearn something like that. Anyway, Theos isn't getting any closer. I suppose we'd best keep after him.
You have family back in your village? Of course, we'd never send a woman who hasn't had the chance to find a mate and have a couple of children of her own. Aren't you... What's your husband like? Kyle's a good man. He raised our children well and built us a strong home while I've been away on hunts. Our parents chose us for one another when we were still young. Not the way things are usually done here, but ours chose well. We came to appreciate each other as helpmates first, then friends, and then, well, you know how it goes. Tell me about your children. 5? Good grief. Emily Winter and Malik is barely talking when I left. Well, that's it. Okay, well, that's all I wanted to know, really. Alright. Does she still have anything here? I don't think so. Talk to her Rance about Wolverine.
What? If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the wrong door.
Okay. So I'm just seeing if there's any, like, quest things here. I just want to make sure I have everything sealed up before...
Wasn't a war. It was a god stepping past himself. The country of Raid Saris and all...
Yeah, we've already talked to you about this.
Gods have taken...
Yeah. We've already
He
talked about
started
this.
saving the Aothasians from themselves. Burning any that didn't... As I see it.
Weird. see.
Of course.
Troubled spirits surround us.
If doubts and curiosity...
I see. I guess maybe I can't. Just looking at how you finish it. I think I need to
As
keep
you
talking
wish.
to him then. Alright, I think that's probably what it is.
If doubts and curiosity plague... If doubts and curiosity...
Maybe I have to rest again before talking to him? Or maybe I can't talk to him anymore.
You don't want what I have, Watcher. Some flames spread If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the... The cost of troubling me seems to worry you little.
Tell me about mine, bro.
She's a goddess, as fickle as...
Let's see.
I suspect the... Some. Shaped for hunt and...
Familiar with Abaddon. Galawain. So he's only willing to talk to me like a few times before each rest. Okay, that explains it. Alright, I'm just gonna exhaust all the options on him real quick. Instead of like, you know, wasting everyone's time here by...
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the wrong door. What? If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles... Carved? This staff is a history. Memory. It's like all memories, except the staff burned. Huh. I suspect the before.
Bear for a lot of rage. Alright, let's quick save here. I think that's all the options I can possibly...
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the... Kill me. That is all you have. A feat.
Is there no way to... Maybe there's not. Hold on, I'm gonna check this out. Hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out exactly how to... Hmm. Weird. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. It doesn't look like it's, weird. I'm gonna try talking to him one more time.
What? If doubts and curiosity... As you wish.
Alright, well, before we go do this, let's go grab some more camping supplies from somewhere. I kind of shouldn't have done that, probably. Wasted all my camping supplies, but what are you gonna do? Now we gotta go to an inn. But I already traveled there, so I should be able to just fast travel back. Yeah, sure. Let's go back to Cadnoa. I know I can probably buy some from my merchants. I was really wanting to finish his,
Last thing the Deerwood needs is another foreign colony.
I was really hoping to finish up his stuff.
Greetings.
Show me your wares, good man. Camping supplies, thank you. Let's see. Get the might bonus.
I'll do the prodding
I'm
around here.
I'm just gonna assume it's I'm gonna look up one last thing.
Following your lead.
Okay.
Of course.
Well, I'm just gonna go on the belief that there's probably another event that's supposed to crop up. Alright, let's see here.
Amazing. You could fit a whole village in here.
Alright, we got all the camp supplies we need now. A lion companion, nice. Let's see. Is there anything else we need to build? Well, it looks like it. Artificer's Hall. Looks like that's it. Not really sure how I'm supposed to recruit additional troops, but I guess we'll sort that out after we finish the game.
Do you remember when we were children, and the missionaries came to tell us about the gods? They told us we could see them in the stars. And we snuck out one night and climbed the watchtower in the old fort because we thought we could see them better from up there. That fort burned down a few years ago when we cast the missionaries out. It was the missionaries who set fire to it. They didn't want us to be able to use it. Shame. There was history in that fort.
I miss those days. It's an exciting time. Everything full of promise. This is your home just as much as mine. Do you worry about it? Our being here puts it at risk. I worry about you. You should be more worried about yourself. Have the guards still plot your death at night.
I miscalculated many things since this began. I'm relieved you weren't one of them. It's a good thing we didn't hang you. I always knew this path would have consequences, but I never wanted to see Kratom suffer on my behalf. I don't think I can stay here any longer. I am told the Inquisition is gathering an army, that they have sent messengers to bargain with rulers from distant lands. Kratom is not built to withstand a siege. If war is coming, I should be doing what Theos is doing. I will need allies. Allies in a stronghold that can resist an invading army.
You thought about... Oh no.
Osionis. They have held off many would-be invaders, and their king has no love of the Inquisition's faith. I wonder, would he listen?
Oh dear.
Brave Dalfilathili.
Bring them down!
Dude. I remember when that lightning spell was dangerous. About 5 levels ago. I'm remembering more.
Brave thou Philothili.
What? Of course.
+3 might. Nice. Pretty sure that doesn't stack. I'm gonna double check, but I'm 90% sure that does not stack. So let's see here. Yep, that's what I thought. Alright, onward. Is there any other armor I need to upgrade on myself here? I'm not level 16, so I can't upgrade that. This is already superb. Okay. Yep, should be good. Alright. It's exceptional. To get to superb, we would need Odra Dragon Scale. I guess I could have checked God Nua, but oh well. Oh look, my past is coming back to haunt me, quite literally.
Brave thou Philothili.
My mind feels
ventured through the doorway into a dim passage. The air is still and musty. Light filters through the collapsed ceiling. A wall of piled stones and rubble blocks the way ahead. Examine the pile. It looks unstable. The floor here slopes down the passage. However, were you to loosen the pile, the debris would roll away from you. Alright. Clear with the pry bar. Nice.
Kill them all!
Oh. Okay. Cool, I guess. It's just like a shortcut. Fair enough.
Another turn, Inquisitor. I ask again,
Jovara Exensios, do you confess to these heresies of which you stand accused? Do you confess to apostasy?
I confess to renouncing a mistake.
Damn.
Do you confess to conspiracy against the one true faith?
I confess to opening minds.
Do you confess to false prophecy?
I confess to following a false prophet.
Indeed. And where might we find this heretic?
He wears the robes of a Grand Inquisitor.
You have no followers here, heretic. Your lies hold no sway in the court of the penitents.
Only my truth, then.
Another turn.
No! Wait! Wait! I'm ready. I'm ready.
You are ready to give a confession?
I'm ready to hear one from you.
Theo shakes his head and points at the Inquisitor. The scraping grind of rusted gears echo in your mind as the apparitions fade. Oh man.
The
Truly
exiled
was a
queen.
terrible person.
Let's hope that grim countenance bodes well.
A great pit lies in the shadow of the statue of Vorka. No light from the surface reaches the bottom, but even so, you catch flickers of a ghostly glow in the depths. A wind from the pit buffets you. It isn't cold, but it raises goose flesh? Thought that was goosebumps along your arms. The wind carries a whisper, low and sibilant. Just jump. Let's go! Jump, trusting in the promise of the gods and the power of the souls to bear you safely down. The sudden drop takes your breath away, but the souls catch you, encasing you in a shining, thrumming aura. But while they slow your descent, you can still feel that you are falling faster than you should. The essence flowing around you is strong but chaotic, and you find yourself drifting towards the wall. Nearby, Kana drifts downward at a rapid pace, carried by another glowing stream of souls. Ah, why did I ever agree to this? Kana flails outwards briefly, then steadies, holding his arms out for balance. It's hard to keep. Gustavus, look out! The wall! Directing yourself back to the pit. Yeah, flip directing yourself back to the center of the pit. You steer yourself safely to the open space. Oh no. You manage to spread your arms and legs into an X, steadying your position and the rate of your descent. You start to feel more comfortable until you notice Kana is still falling too fast. Kana plummets, falling down out of control. You can attempt to rescue, but the ground is approaching. It will take a feat of speed and agility to avoid injury. Die for your companion. You snatch Kana out of freefall, but you're unable to gain control over your own momentum and time. You take the brunt of the impact, landing hard against the Millennia Stones.
After what seems like an eternity, your rapid descent comes to an abrupt end. You remain still for a moment while your heart settles and your eyes adjust, breathing in stale, forgotten air. Before you, a narrow and eroded walkway becomes faintly visible in the dim light, cutting a winding path through a cavern so expansive it seems a world unto itself. In the distance, you can make out the cold gleam of living Adra veins that spike and fork in and out of view from the murky depths beneath. Their glow a faint and fleeting guide along the ancient trail. You look above at the opening you jumped through, now barely a speck of light like some distant star alone in the cosmos and forever out of reach. Your only way lies ahead.
Think I dislocated my... That's better.
Everyone all right? No shattered knees? Good. Just me, then.
That was bracing.
This place is cursed.
Gonna rest because I just cracked my ribs saving Kana.
Do you think a single man might change the course of destiny?
If he has the will and the means, I don't believe in destiny. Fate is what you make of it. Fate is what you make of it. I like that. There are people, yourself included, who seem to change the world around them just by passing through. Then there are those who maneuver and scheme, pulling strings from the shadows. And by that method, topple ducks, the dukes, rather. Causing chaos is one thing, it's another to provoke lasting change. I suspect you're right. In this case, time will tell. We'll have to see what lessons Defiance Bay draws from its ordeal. True.
What's this?
Okay.
Slow and
That reminds me. Let's not do that.
Bring them down!
As requested.
Laying low.
Ray.
Still alive? Still Let's burn this away! I have them! Bring them down!
My mind is not distinct.
I think I see something.
Actually, yeah, I'm not even close. I'm not quite max level, but that's fine.
Brave thou feel.
Don't even...
What in the world? Oh, an Audrin Animat. Alright. Alright, Demariance. Okay, let's do this.
Hey.
Hold swing.
My mind feels something.
There we go.
Of course.
Where are you, Theos?
As requested.
Coming for you. A column of Audra rises above you, stoic and silent. Its ridged layers a measuring stick for the passing of ages. It feels to you as a thick block of ice, and you perceived, buried deep in the core, a dim, flickering flame all but extinguished, yet preserved against the ravages of the elements. At your approach, the flame seems too steady and draw strength, and the layers separating it from you melt away, and you're bathed in its glow, a bright beacon in the gloom. The glow seems to fade as though you had adjusted to its intensity, and where it was, Yovara seeps into essence. An eidolonic shade hovering above the moist prison floor. Though ageless, she appears somehow different to you now. A slight stoop to her ribcage, perhaps, or a trace of sunkenness in her eyes. There is a broad scar across her face, fibrous and wormy, where flames were once lapped, unhealed even in death.
Hello, brother. It has truly been ages. You are so different now from who you were then, yet much remains the same. Old troubles with a new face. What is it that has brought you here?
Here to free you. Well, it would seem I have unfinished business here, to be the honest one.
I'd hoped after our last discussion you would find what you sought. Has it eluded you all this time? I can only guess your presence here has something to do with Theos. The energy of this place changes when he is near. I don't know what he has done, but I do know of the souls that pass through here now. They do not come by choice.
Theos diverted them from the cycle. He seeks to empower Wodoka to blame Animancy for the damage he's caused.
After all this time, he would still stand against the tide.
You knew me when Theos did. There's something I need to know about that time.
I will tell you what I remember.
There's something about that lifetime my soul can't let go of. I need to know what it is, and I'm running out of time. I see moments from that life, of you, of the Inquisition, of Theos.
I can see his influence, still hanging like a weight about your neck. So it always was. He had inspired something in you. We spoke of him the last time you were here also. It was just after the trial. You were agitated. I think because you started to consider that what I was teaching may have been true.
And what was that? Her mouth tightens and her brow furrows, a look of pity. Her eyes shift back and forth between each of you, as if looking for something that would help her decide whether to speak.
That the gods aren't real.
What?
She's not serious.
Perhaps not to her. Many are those whom the gods have scorned. This is petty retribution.
There's a theory puts my boldest to shame. But we ourselves have seen the gods' influence.
That doesn't seem possible.
What I taught was that the gods whose faith we had been spreading were not gods at all, but something else entirely. Something created by people.
How did you discover this?
The Anguithan missionaries all knew it, but they never told the rest of us. They meant it to be a secret that died with them. And in the end, they allowed their bloodlines to fade from memory. I had been assigned to join a few of them at a temple. I found the door to their chambers closed, but the room was stone and the door thin. Their voices carried. I heard enough. I investigated the things they spoke of, and everything was there, just as they said it'd be.
Who created the gods then, or for what?
They were conceived by Enguith, a society of high minds and broad concerns. Theos' people. In their time, every people worshipped its own gods. Sometimes they warred over it. After a few wars of their own, the Anguithans sought an end to it. They devoted all their energy to finding the true creators. Generation after generation, they prodded and worked the stitching of the world and unlocked its secrets. One day, they found an answer. Except the answer was no answer at all. There were no gods to be found. Or if there ever were, they were gone. It shook them, this finding. If they could discover this on their own, how long until others would? How long before war and chaos reigned over a world without consequence? But they had mastered many things in their pursuit of these answers. And with their mastery, they crafted their own gods to fill the void, and sent missionaries to the corners of the world to spread their faith.
This is why you started your own faith.
I never thought of it as fate, but I think you are right to call it that. Let the world see. Let them decide what to do. That was my faith. I became a missionary because the gods brought me hope that I wanted to bring to others. For a time, the truth sent me to a dark place. Then the day came when I realized nothing had changed, that I still had a purpose, and the purpose was the same and it was worth living for. I began questioning the other missionaries in public, exposing their parlor tricks. In time, their following became mine.
Is it true what you taught?
You asked me this once before. Nothing I can say would be any proof, and it may be certainty your soul craves. Resolution. But if you are bound for the same place Theos directs these souls, you will see for yourself, as you once did. Everyone faces this truth at one time or another. Few confront it. Few have the stomach to ask what if. And in avoiding the question, they deny themselves an identity of their own.
She scans her audience in silence, her eyes thoughtful, lingering on each member of your company in turn, finding interest in things unseen.
What if all the tragedy, all the
dead,
persecution, came in defense of an imposter?
That's not... That can't be right. Aethys, he's done miracles for people.
The power of the gods is undeniable. The truth of the story they weave is not. What if it were forbidden knowledge rather than fault that earned your doom? What of your guilt?
Uh-oh. Oh, she's talking to Durant. Uh-oh.
Margaret set a path for me. She is fickle and cruel, but that is how she teaches. You know nothing of the fires that have shaped me.
And what if the fires themselves were lies? Lies you told yourself to bridge the gap between experience and truth.
Beads of sweat coalesce on Durant's forehead and trickle down the sides of his face in streaming rivulets, as though he were a block of ice standing before a great fire. Yep.
If all our common threads are spun from a lie, what's left to bind us together?
All of us across Aora are trying to survive, to make sense of the world. What could better bind us together than that struggle? We'll find our own truths. Make them if we must. We don't need an ancient lie to bolster us. United, the Angwithans created gods. Mortal men and women coming together to do the impossible. Let us surpass them.
What if our burdens come to us not because they are meant to be, but because they happen to be?
All the more reason to cast them off. We have no guarantees beyond this life. Better to enjoy our days while we can.
What if the cycle of birth and death is nothing more than a tool of endless preoccupation?
The grieving mother returns Yovara's gaze, nodding her head almost imperceptibly. For a moment, all is silent. Yovara nods back, seemingly moved by an unspoken understanding. What if we can be assured of nothing? Oh, memories. Then we had best build our strength so we can bear it, I suppose. Makes kind of Gustavus sense here.
Yet strength is not given, but earned, and always in proportion to its cost. What will you sacrifice for yours, and who will pay the toll? I ask these things not to trouble you, but to show why they must be confronted. No answer is simple. But somewhere between them all lies a truth so beautiful, not even a god could conceive it. Do we not owe ourselves a chance to find our part in it?
Even without assurances, there is still truth.
If that is truly what you believe, then you are a far different person than the one I knew. I've been alone here with my thoughts for so long now. I've found peace with my failures, and with my punishment. I no longer curse fate for what might have been. But there is one thing that has clawed and scraped at my mind all these years. One thing that will not be put to rest until I know. Until I understand.
For the first time, a hint of doubt traces her visage.
I need to know why you chose to remain with the Inquisition, even after you'd learned the truth. Do you remember?
Decisions. Interesting character moment. Like, afraid of Theos. That would be an interesting arc. Like, a character was so afraid of him for so long, but ultimately he was the one that was destined to defeat him. Never forgave you for what happened between us. I don't feel like that fits as much. We'll go with the kind of the more coward route in the previous life, that he had to find his courage and redeem himself. I like that better.
Woodica gifted him a great many things, but his ability to manipulate was always his own. Good. The things I taught, the things I believed, I needed to hear that. I needed to know it wasn't because...
You need to know it wasn't because after everything you'd learned, you'd still rather believe a lie. If that is the conclusion people will reach once they know everything, then my purpose has been a mistake. Did my opinion really matter so much to you?
I've always looked up to you, since we were children. You had heard both sides, seen everything. If not you, then who?
You're never going to be able to convince everyone of anything. True or not, there will always be dissent.
I expected dissent. But I needed to know that true faith would prevail. Perhaps I've been wrong to place so much importance on one person's actions. It was all I could do to feel like there was an answer. Even knowing what you've told me, some part of me knows it doesn't truly answer what I wished to know. Nor will an eternity of silent contemplation. I will have only my guesses and suspicions, and that will have to do. And what of your understanding of our past? Are you at ease with the choice you made?
I see the world differently now than I once did. I regret what I did to you and wish for your forgiveness.
I have always forgiven you. Whatever your reason, no quarrel of ideas can sever ties of blood and essence. No parting of ways can erase memories of times without worry. Times when even without gods, we were never truly alone. At first I thought this might be the source of your soul's anguish. But now I see I was mistaken. You are not divided on this matter. You have put it behind you. It is with Theos that your agony lies, in sun and shadow. Your questions are not for me, but for him. And it may be that only an answer from the mouth of Theos himself will satisfy your needs. Yet if there is anything I can tell you that would be of use, ask and you shall know.
Are you stuck here?
In a matter of speaking. This is Braeth Yamen, the court of the penitents. Souls are confined here until they repent. They must beg the forgiveness of a god, pledge their soul to them, and they will be lifted from this place to the world above. In truth, they receive leniency, but not true mercy. The spite of Woodica is eternal. They linger above, at the side of the old court, and are not permitted to leave the island, forever severed from the cycle. This prison was full once in the days of the Inquisition. But time weathers all things, even will. I'm the only tenant who remains. Yet, I feel their presence strongly now, as it was in the beginning. You have brought many of them here. They cry out for the judgment of Theos. You have struck some bargain with the gods, then.
Better to be on their side than Woodica's.
Better to be on no side at all. Woodica may be the most dangerous of the gods, but make no mistake. Engwith built gods from ideals, and an ideal on its own is a grotesque and vicious thing. But these souls, these forgiven the gods have bequeathed you like chattel. They were loyal followers in life. They will be with you to the very end.
Why don't you repent? You could be free of this place.
Last time someone asked me that, I was bound to an iron wheel with a broken spine. There are many things I've come to doubt about the choices I made in life. But that trial was my one moment of certainty. Even without a chorus of gods to tell me I had been right. The gods need to be reminded that we have a spirit, and that spirit is proof against their power. They have the power to manipulate and confuse and ruin us, but not to change our will. I will remain here until the world crumbles and fades from existence, with joy in my heart, knowing I've shown them what they truly are.
That's conviction. I gotta give her that. Why has Theos done all this?
He cares only for the secret he keeps locked away. He destroys anyone who might discover it, no matter their chances.
That the gods are not truly gods.
That's why he's always favored Woodica. It isn't in her love of promises or justice. It's her disregard for the rules. Her willingness to do what is necessary. To Theos, she's not a deity, but an ally with which to conspire. When her power waxes, she does as she pleases with this realm, as well as hers. And she wants that secret guarded as much as he. If Theos succeeds, there will be a shift in the balance of power among the gods. Woodica was vanquished once, when the other gods decided she had gone too far, and her power diminished. With this infusion, there is no telling what she will do. The only certainty is that there will be chaos in their realm, as well as ours.
Do you know what it is I need from Theos?
I could not say for sure. But you have been to Sun and Shadow before, and it came at a crossroads in your life, when much of what you knew had been upended. I have to believe it will come to you there. Your concerns then were of loyalty and trust and the gods. Everything I told you seemed to send you further into doubt. His words mattered to you when you knew him then. After you and I spoke, you went immediately to seek him out. Perhaps you simply sought confirmation from the man you trusted. If something from that time still troubles you, it may be something he told you then, or refused to tell you. He keeps secrets better than any in this world.
How do I get him to tell me?
You will not find a more resolute being on all of Aora. There is no offer you could make, nor spell you could cast, nor pain you could inflict that would make him reveal what he hides. but I see you have become a watcher in this life. Perhaps in defeat, when he can no longer defend himself, you might learn something from him.
It's time for me to go.
Theos will not wait for you. If you do not catch up to him now, you may never find him again.
Defiance here is an illusion. You're a slave to the gods, bound to the rules, stuck in their system. Your continued existence is proof of the gods' dominion over all of us. You can join them. Help me strike the final blow against Theos. I'm not sure. Hard choice. Well, I'll say this much, like, Gustavus has Gustavus does respect that other people have their choices to make. You could join with them.
If I repent, all I have done has meant nothing.
But your defiance here is an illusion. Like, you notice a bond now, one that has always been an interleaving of her essence with yours at the extremities of perception. You are tied to this woman's spirit, and you can feel a measure of control over it, as though you were its shepherd. I don't know if I could actually do that to her. Never
It
mind.
is a cruel fate to wait all this time to be reunited with my only brother, only to be forced to part soon after. But then, what is life but a series of brief encounters with those we love? If ever we should meet again, in this life or any other, I hope to find you at peace.
Damn. Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to actually kill her. Go to finish. This might still have a ways at the end. How are you? I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. How are you doing? It's good to see you back. Yeah, that was interesting. I like how, like, the decisions that you kind of make over the course of it kind of determine what your past was. I kind of like how it, like, shaped out.
I can't see much, but I hear a noise
Gilvar
like
ends
a
up
pig
being,
choking on wet
like-
feed. So, I guess Durance is breathing at least.
Yeah, I thought I might be able to. Alright, I could probably talk to Durance now. I thought I might be able to finish it. I don't know, though.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, She's a goddess. Some shit. If doubts and curiosity plague you, your skinning your knuckle kill me. That is all you.
Yeah, I was hoping that maybe that would work, but guess not.
Doesn't that just beat all? Here I was, wondering all this time whether all these terrible things were people's fault or the gods. Turns out they might be the same thing. Wonder how things would have gone different 15 years ago if the Raid Sarens had been told their god was made in some forge or kiln someplace. Would we still have gone to war?
People were starving. They'd have rebelled sooner or later.
I could see the rebellion still happening, but I don't know that they would have invaded. I don't know. When Woden left for war, we, had a fight. As brothers will.
What about?
About him going off to war. He was set on it. My parents warned him. They said you get a new country with every trip across the border, but your god, you only get the one. Me? I didn't know who was right. All I knew was I didn't want him to go. It's the same for families as it is for gods. You only get the one. I said every vicious thing I could think of, trying to change his mind. He brushed it off. Just got me madder, of course, him being so calm. He said I should come with him, but he'd understand if I didn't want to. I told him he'd better be able to face his god one day and answer for what he'd done. He said he'd keep that in mind. And then he was gone. By the time I'd cooled off, months had passed. One morning it dawns on me that my brother always knew better than me. If he was so sure of what he was doing, then I should be there with him. I packed my things and was on the road that same morning. Of course, what I didn't know then was he'd already changed his mind. By that time, he was dead on that field.
Do you think he wanted to wait because of what you said?
Crossed my mind. You live in a place like Gilded Vale, you don't have a whole lot else to do other than think about things you don't want to think about. I hope that wasn't it. I hope he went there because it's what he thought was right. But it seems I'm not meant to know.
So if you'd left with him, you'd have known why he changed his mind.
If I'd have left with him, we'd both be dead, so I don't know why I bother thinking about it. I found my own way in the end, and it wasn't my brother's, and it wasn't my god's. I don't know if it was right. But I couldn't abide what Wydwin was doing to his own. God or not, I don't regret it. Whether Wydwin was Aothis, well, it hardly seems to matter after what we just heard. And all these questions I've been trying to figure out. I think I just miss my brother.
Let's go.
Still one more mess we gotta straighten out. Come on then. I still owe you one.
Really have enjoyed the character writing and a lot of the world building. It was quite an interesting reveal.
Of course.
It was quite an interesting reveal. Uh-oh. Whoa.
Look at the size of this place.
Look at that. A city to put all others to shame. And long lost.
Many spirits stir here, edged with anger, violence.
Can you do that again? I had something in my eye. I missed most of it.
You might finish today. I was thinking maybe, like, I don't know what happens after I'm gonna fight Theos, I'm assuming. Because, like, they're like, this is where he is. I'm like, alright. Let's go find him. Finished Path of Exile 2 last night. We'll be starting Path of Exile 1 again today. Nice. You know what class you're gonna play? Boots of Speed.
Brave thou Philothili.
My mind feels
Cypher. Nice. Good choice.
this one repels my touch.
That's... I'm probably gonna do the same whenever I come back to replay the series again. I mean, I still got the second one to play, but when I come back to probably do the first one again, I might do Cypher as well. That seems like a... That and Enchanters seem like really cool classes. Is that a dragon that they chained up down here? What the hell?
Brave thou
Oh, a Shadow Drake. Alright, well, that's something. Alright, first, let's go tackle that. So, let's get this down. I'm gonna need the heals ready. I have a feeling I'm gonna eat a breath attack pretty soon. Is it possible for me to disrupt it? Okay, he's stunned. Alright, good. Let's get Watchful Presence now. Am I gonna begin Path of Exile 2 immediately? Oh, yeah, hold on. There we go. Am I gonna start Path of Exile 2 immediately? Probably. It just depends on how long it takes me to finish it today. If I don't start Path of Exile today, I will start it tomorrow. That's the plan anyway. Yeah, my mic, I have like a boom mic basically set up here, but it like has to go up and over my my monitors. So like sometimes I'll either move or my mic will shift a little bit and then I have to kind of readjust so it happens.
My mind feels twisted.
True. Actually, I'll do that a little bit here. I'll turn the mic gain up just a little bit. There we go. I'll turn myself up a little bit. I don't want to turn the volume down too much. That might be a little bit better there, hopefully. Alright. When combat is occurring, true. It does get a little loud.
Brave thou Philothili.
Alright, let's see if we got other... No Shadow Drakes this time? Alright. Oh, never mind. I was just about to say no Shadow Drakes this time. And then a Shadow Drake shows up. Alright.
One repels my touch.
Where are you, Drance? This shouldn't be too hard. I think without level scaling on... Oh, okay, never mind, that hurt. Alright, let's do that. That was probably a breath attack, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Alright. I'm not really worried about that shade behind us. We can kill that at any time. More heals. Nice. I have a lot of controls now. I thought that I'd only really get controls on wizards or casters. As it turns out, you get a lot of controls if you spec this right. Abaddon's Labor, good control. Even Ancients, good control. Steps of the Wheel, looks like a pretty good control. Fear from Speaker of the Restless, also good control. Like, these are really, really nice. Not to mention Carnage and the interrupt effect from having a two-handed hammer and being a barbarian. It's all around really awesome, like, crowd control abilities, even just against single targets. It's very excellent. Let's go explore a wee bit, or maybe not. No, okay. All right then. All right. On to the next one. Still got the sniffles. All right. I really cannot praise the writing enough. I've really enjoyed the beginning. I was kind of like, you know, it wasn't bad, but wasn't blowing my mind. But the further I've gotten into this, the more I've really appreciated the writing.
Are you ready to take the oath? To spread the word of the gods to the lost and heathen?
Uh-oh.
I am trusting you to remain loyal to the gods in this. If you do not, you will have greater powers than me to answer to. But you will answer to me as well.
I'm going through all my decisions. Broad belt of power. 2 might to resolve that.
I wouldn't ask this were there any other choice.
Yikes.
This is a missionary, same as I was. Taught the wrong things as I was. Oceanus. They have held off many would-be invaders.
You are ready to give a confession?
I'm ready to hear one from you.
Oof. It's quite a nice roller coaster ride. Like I said, the writing really, like, exponentially got better over the course of it. I really liked being able to kind of pick my own kind of past from it. I really liked the idea of, like, my character was originally, like, manipulated and kind of seduced by Theos's kind of cult personality, even going as far as, like, you know, joining it and then being so scared of him at the end that he was even willing to betray his sister, and then in other lives seeking redemption. I really like that. It's a very cool thing. Hey, Durant's ranked up. Additional 4th levels. Let's save here. This feels like boss time. Nah, my boss sense is, like, on point. You've come to a circular room, grand and domed, its walls lined with Audra and trimmed with copper. At the far end, a great pillar of Audra pierces the floor from below, like a ragged spike. Its shimmering texture gives the illusion of boundless depth. Your thoughts are yours, and not yours, and they are all questions. At the base of the pillar stands Theos, a look of concern on his face as he notes your approach. You have something you want to ask him, one question above all others, spinning madly in your mind, but you don't dare ask it yet. You need some admission from him first. Some hint of his veracity of your suspicion, of the veracity of your suspicions.
You are far from your post, Inquisitor. What brings you here?
What is this place?
We are in a sanctum holy to Utica. There are others like it in service to the other gods. I come here often to pray for her counsel, and in this space I may be assured that she hears me.
What does the machine do behind you?
It has many uses, but its purpose is to bring structure to the chaos that surrounds it.
And who are all these statues?
They are monuments to Utica's greatest servants among my people. I hope to join them myself one day, but my work is not yet complete.
Is Yovara telling the truth?
That woman sought only to destroy the foundations of peace and civility that my people sacrificed everything to build.
Is the entire Inquisition based on a lie?
The Inquisition was based on the need to cut the flesh from a rotting wound.
You're shaking now, having lost all patience for tact. No more evasions. You have to know. Everything you believed, everything you've done for the gods. Did you lie to me when you said the gods would absolve my sins? Are there no gods?
What is a god? A higher power? A rewarder of good deeds and punisher of the wicked? Something men can turn to in their darkest moments when their days seem only like bridges from one tragedy to the next. Our gods are all these things.
With Theos every word, you find yourself losing control of a boiling cauldron of rage, doubt, and fear and hopelessness until you can take no more. Are there no gods?
We are in a sacred place within earshot of the gods themselves. This is not the time. You've been through much these past few months. You will return home and you will rest. When you feel you have recovered, you may rejoin us at the trials. The Inquisition is far from over, and I will have need of you. There are many who continue to spread the lies of the apostate. The Inquisition will not end until we have pronounced judgment on all of them.
His eyes linger on you, and there is no mistaking the threat behind it. And your rage shrinks at the image of an iron wheel in your mind, monolithic and caked with the dried blood of thousands. Do not ask your question again.
How did you find it?
I didn't. It was Lady Webb.
Another in a string of acts of petty defiance. For all her knowledge, she always preferred spite over reason.
There was reason that guided her hand in this.
Then she should have obeyed. I ask one thing of all my followers. She was incapable. A waste of rare talent and intellect.
Blind obedience is a lot to ask of someone with a mind of their own.
What of your cohorts, then? They have followed you to their deaths. Is it loyalty that brings them here? Or is it, as my agents suggest, that they have no direction of their own? You worshipped Aethys, did you not?
Your spies are good. What gave me away? The cape?
Yet when your god needed you the most, you chose your country.
We were being invaded. Not by anyone who was acting like a god.
Then I should think your hometown gave you a hero's welcome when you returned.
They made cake. Hard to blame people for losing faith when it's the gods who are misbehaving.
The gods argue over how best to prevent Kith society from destroying itself. These disruptions would not be necessary were mortal instinct not so diseased. You have devoted yourself to studying the work of my people. Why?
I'm starting to Kana now.
I thought your people had much to teach us. That we too could create great machines, improve our ships, Make an empire as vast and impressive as yours ever was, built upon your secrets.
And did you ever consider that these were things you were never meant to understand? That their comprehension is beyond you?
I know better, Kana. The Ingwethans weren't an infallible race. They were never gods. All your petty experiments, your heinous crimes, your glorious achievements, you were just people. And your time came and went. Engweth is a lesson now for those who remain.
You are living in the time of my people, Amawa. You owe them more than you will ever comprehend, and so it shall ever be. Greater civilizations than yours have attempted to reclaim what we buried. The greater their successes, the worse their fates in the end. I have seen to it.
Duran stares at Deus with a beast snarl. Deus watches him calmly.
You built a weapon that delivered exactly as promised.
I served my goddess as you did yours.
Yet the other builders were slain. 11 of a dozen. Why not you? Were you somehow different? Redeemable in your god's sight?
There was a message there, whether she meant it or not.
Or was it merely that your goddess wanted you dead as well, and your delusions of importance prevented you from seeing the obvious?
A whore's beguiling charms, nothing more. But the spell's broke now, Theos. The trial's over. I know friend from foe. And I've come here now to see a foe repaid.
You were able to destroy a god because another god wished it. Without her hand to guide you, you could not strike at a god any more than you could strike the sky. You are impotent. And not just from the pox.
Damn. Theos really gave it to Durance above all people, it seems.
You are far from home, dwarf.
I knew my hunt would send me a long way from Masuk. It was a challenge I was glad to undertake for my village.
A journey, then? It must be of some import to take you so far and to last so long.
It's important to Masuk, and so it's important to me.
You are here because you are lost. The gods cannot reach everyone, I'm afraid. May you fare better in your next lives. I gather you have had your soul awakened. Why else would you shadow my footsteps like some stray mongrel? You think I have something to offer you, but our business was concluded long ago.
I lived my life by the lies you told. You owe me the truth.
I answered your questions once. That your soul is not fit to accept the answers is of little concern to me. I lied to no one. Not to you, not to anyone. The gods are real. They are everything we need them to be, and the world is better for it.
You convinced me once the gods would absolve me of my guilt. There's no one to absolve either of us of our crimes.
Guilt is a disease of the mind. If the mind no longer believes it is guilty, then that is as good as absolution. The heart of this country has skipped a beat, nothing more. I have done far worse. I plunged the peaceful kingdom of Telosus into civil war. I slew the monarch of Desantio, whose people never knew hardship under his rule, and replaced him with a cruel despot who brought them to ruin. When plague arrived at the great city of Arborensis, I saw to it that the cure did not. They piled their dead outside the city in heaps that rose above their walls.
This is supposed to diminish the damage you've done here.
It is to show the proper perspective. There was a time, back when your soul was still a shapeless mist, when the world believed only in false gods. Thousands of them. Gods that told them to take slaves. Gods that told them to make war upon their neighbors and devour the slain. Gods that told them to burn their children alive and cover themselves in the ashes as a sign of their faith. But all that changed when they learned of the true gods. Our gods. All those misshapen, bestial instincts melted beneath the radiance of our God's majesty. You could see it in their eyes. That dull emptiness replaced with the glimmer of a kindled spark.
Teaching them there were no gods would have achieved the same purpose.
And replaced it with one far worse. Have you imagined his existence? The one the apostate would have created. We are not all so virtuous as she. Without our gods, the most wicked, the most tyrannical, they would take that power for themselves. But more than that, it would be a hollow existence. All mysteries forever unanswered. All purposes constructed from meaninglessness. No endings to bring closure. Only a wheel, turning without mercy, grinding our spirits to dust.
Better that than to live a lie.
Telling yourself each day that what you do matters, that it isn't all for nothing, that the world is just. The apostate's world is built on believing lies. All I have seen, the millennia of experience. I will not be dissuaded from this course. This is the only way.
At least admit it. That there are no true gods. I need to hear that from you.
You have not thought this through. There is no leaving this place for you. I allowed it once, but you have made it all too clear what a mistake my mercy was. With your soul and thousands of others, I will see this world purged of its suffering. Hear me, Woodica. Your servant calls for aid.
Well, let's do it. Interesting.
What is it?
Alright. Rage.
What?
Durance. Get your shit started.
Following your lead.
Next, we're gonna start probably wanting to... No, we need to keep everyone close because Durance has to heal.
Hey.
Eder, go distract. Do that.
Yes.
Kana, I need to probably run for your life. Okay. Let's use all of our abilities on him. How much power do we have to use? Okay, let's see. She's using a spell already. Okay, I guess that's fine for the moment.
What?
Alright, next up, we're gonna throw this. Okay. Then we're going to use this.
Following your lead.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep beating on Theos until he drops, hopefully. This fight differed. You had... You had him rather than the Ranger, than Sagani, yeah. And the Barbarian rather than the Bard. Wonder how different... I assume that the dialogue was a lot different. Did I just crit that guy into the next... Did I just crit him into the Netherrealm? Or is he just... Okay. Alright, well, while he's doing... whatever it is that he's doing...
Following your lead.
What?
Durance, I need you to start casting spells, my bro. Let's see. Okay, first things first. Let's look for some... Minor Intercession may not be bad. You had Olaf. Yeah, I went pretty much straight for the tankiness. I think we gotta... Well, that's already down on people, I think. Or is this different? No, it's Watchful Presence. Yeah. Alright, Watchful Presence is still there. How could I forget Olaf? Had a lot of melee? Oh, okay. Well, that's true. Yeah, you had the Barbarian instead of the Ranger. Yeah, you did have a lot of melee. Now that I think about it, I actually only have really 2 dedicated melee now that I actually think about it. Let's see here. There's just debating on what to throw first. Let's do. Can I like maybe no? Crap. All right. Well, I'll just do this for now.
Hey.
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully, I can take this thing down quickly. Okay.
Ready, Watcher.
Gani, I need you to move. Okay. Instead of that, let's do the DR bypassing. Put Mark on that one. Make sure we can take him down quickly. Nice, I got a stun on him. Kana, what are you doing, bro? Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll work. Perfect. Alright. What's my might at? Why is it only at 18? What am I? Ah, Devotion of the Faithful. Okay. I'm getting smacked around by debuffs. Okay. Unfortunate. But not surprising. Okay. What else we got? Durance. Okay. I do have a debuff clear somewhere here. You have a lot of melee? Well, true. I mean, I have 2 hard melees. Olaf never left the group. I would have kept Olaf, believe it or not. Like, I really liked Olaf as both a character and a class, but I liked Grieving Mother a lot more. And, yeah, it came down to either Durance or Olaf. That was, like, the room in my party. Because I really liked Sagani, and I really liked having a Ranger. Or not a Ranger. Well, yeah, a Ranger. And I was like, well, I got to make my choice here on who I'm bringing.
This thing isn't doing the job.
Are you gonna cast this? There we go. That should. Thought that would cleanse. Alright, I guess not. Crown of the Faithful. It's part of why I want to do another run to use different companions. Yeah, I feel like that's a. I feel like there's a lot of uniqueness to the game when it comes to like running different companions for the majority of the game. I feel like that gives it a nice and it's like I'm not saying the game's short because it's not, but like the game is short enough that I would be tempted to come back and play it again. I remember Wrath of the Righteous. I like Wrath of the Righteous, but that game took me a month. Well, actually, almost 2 months to finish, and it was just too much. I might go back and play it again, but it's just too much. Does he already have Minor Avatar on? Yeah, he already does. Okay. May have taken 6 months each time. Yeah, that's my thing. Like, I know it sounds like a weird. I know it sounds like a weird complaint, and it's not really a complaint. It's just a matter of fact. Like, I really did like the game. It's just I had to put. I mean, I can actually. I'm gonna double check right now, and I can tell you exactly how long it took me to beat it. I mean, I have all the. I could try and tally up all the marks, right? But where's that? Yeah, it took me about 120 hours to finish Wrath of the Righteous.
Fiery horror goddess!
Yeah, exactly, Durance. Which is a lot of time. You know, I did enjoy it, but like, it's just... It's just a lot of time to sink into something.
Forgive me. Kill the...
At your feet rests the body of Theos, hollow, the dense wrinkles shaped by silent shouldering of an eternal burden now smoothed across his color-drained face. His soul remains still for the moment, defenseless, its energy expended in defeat. It lies sprawled across his body like a death shroud.
All those lifetimes spent to preserve a single vital secret. I would expect a man to reconsider his choices after the first 500 years.
After journeying for lifetimes, I can't imagine his failure, knowing it was all for nothing.
Thousands of souls he has tortured. Would that he could live those sufferings 1,000 times himself.
At some point, you have to look at the things your God is telling you to do, and ask yourself if it's worth it.
Explore Theos' soul. With a deep breath, you plunge into Theos' soul. And where in Brackenberry it had been a maze of narrow corridors and dead ends, it is now expansive and borderless, its walls crumbling into heaps like the ruins of Engwith as you pass through them. You travel for what seems like ages, rushing to a known destination, a memory you glimpsed once before. At last you see it, no more than a pinprick of light at the end of a long tunnel, expanding slowly at first, then quickly as you near. You come out in the room you are standing in now, but it is new and pristine and filled with people, thousands of them, all turned towards the great Audra pillar and the machine that encases it. Theo stands at the machine and you are one with him now. You look at the crowd, at faces of shriveled old men and cherub-cheeked little girls, at mothers bouncing infants to quiet them and fathers clasping their children's restless hands, and watching you with somber acceptance. A woman with tears in her eyes gives you a small nod. You turn back towards the machine. Your breath constricts beneath the weight of your unwanted knowledge, preparing yourself to set out alone on a journey without end. You close your eyes and open them again to find the machine still in front of you, beckoning. You take your place in front of it and place your hands upon a large mechanical disc at the base of the great crystal column and speak a single word. Giant rings creak to life, building speed, setting arrays of carved, draconic mouths aglow and sending tremors through the platform beneath you. The entire room shakes now with the force of the accelerating machine, all sound drowned out by its deep, deafening thrum. Brilliant tendrils of light arc outward from the pillars in all directions, and you look over your shoulder to see them engulfing the crowd, burning them brightly like hot iron. One by one, the tendrils disappear, leaving ashen effigies where people once stood, many of them disintegrating into gray heaps under the stress of the tremors. Ugh. You look above to the Audra pillar, and glowing spherical mass has begun to coalesce atop the column where the arc converges. It grows and pulses, translucent and bulbous like some immense chrysalis, suspended in slow rotation as though it were being spun from arcs of light. When the last arc disappears, the spectral mass hangs a moment, no longer rotating so bright you must shield your eyes with an outstretched hand, and it seems as though it is looking at you. You bow your head in acknowledgement and look back up to see it melt into the pillars like warm candle wax. The pillar flares with a flash of light, bright as the sun itself, then fades to darkness. The machine slows down to an abrupt halt, and when the last echo of its grinding cogs has passed, the chamber is still, and you are alone. From all sides, reality begins to bleed in through the memory, and you find yourself in your own skin once more, looking down at Theos' lifeless body. You sense a listlessness in Theos' soul, an overwhelming fatigue that hinders its immediate escape and makes it vulnerable to manipulation. You feel as though your victory has given you some kind of hold over it, and you are able to do with it as you please. Man, this is a hard choice. What do I do with him? If I just return him to the cycle, like... he'll just do this again. Like, this is a hard choice, honestly. I mean, he was a crazy guy. Like I understand that he was doing what he thought was the right thing, even if it was atrocious. Like, he wasn't just doing it for, you know, gits and shiggles, as they say. There can be no forgiveness for your deeds, only justice. Your memory makes you a slave to your own past. Perhaps it can be undone. Yeah, but then I'm kind of a hypocrite, because I did tell the grieving mother that, like, you can't really, you know, manipulate people like that, even if you think it's the right thing to do. Either kill him. I'd say either tear his soul apart so he finds peace, or return him to the cycle, maybe. Or I could banish him. You escape judgment no longer. I'll banish him.
You've let him off too easily, Watcher. I would have left such scars on his soul that he'd have begged escape from the wheel's turn.
You regard Theos' soul still and subdued, and your pronouncement seems to empower your spirit. Your will seems to you now a thick chain, and you wind it around Theos, constraining all movement and eliminating any possible last means of resistance. You call to mind the eternal prison, the vast empty cavern and its cells of Audra, vacated by souls that chose to betray themselves in order to escape an infinite abyss of hopeless self-reflection. You choose a vacant pillar and pour your consciousness into it, creating a perfect, inescapable hollow with space for one. And now you gather up Theos' soul, bear it to the pillar like some bodiless jailer, conjured by justice itself. You can feel its resistance now, the abject terror radiating from it, but your binding will not be broken. When at last it is sealed away and you begin to recede back to your center, you almost swear you hear a distant wordless cry for mercy. In the distance that follows, a single word echoes through your mind, a word you spoke when you were one with Theos in an ancient memory. You realize it's a word that activates the machine. I can't help but feel maybe I did fucking give him one of the worst punishments. Well, it is what it is. I think that's probably for the best. With your companions bearing witness, you step up to the place where Theos once stood before his people long ago. The great machine lies in front of you, idle, ready. You've seen this machine and others like it in operation. You understand how it works. It is a device for directing souls. As a watcher, it would be a simple matter to influence that direction, though as big as the machine is, it may be the last thing you ever do. Speak the word. Distribute the essence of the existing souls of the Direwood. I'll hold through on my word. You close your eyes and expand your perception outward, taking in the immense totality of the tens of thousands of souls orbiting the chamber. You grasp their souls as tenuous. You find yourself fighting to keep them all within your influence, and you can feel them slipping away from you as the machine gains speed. A brief moment comes when it feels as though you hold all of them at once, and their force is so great it feels they will tear you apart. In that moment, you decide their entire being to bending their orbits, channeling their flow in a new direction.
At your command, the ancient device became your instrument, spinning to life with deafening resonance and gathering up the swirling essence like thread on a great spindle. There, in the pale, pulsing glow of the machine that set you on this path long ago, you summoned all your strength, focusing on your objective and blocking out all else. With a single concussive blast that rocked the chamber and sent you tumbling to the ground, you freed the souls from their stasis. Exhausted, your consciousness slipping away, your last sight was of the machine, dark and dormant. Then your eyes closed, and sleep welcomed you at long last. After coming to and searching for some time, you discovered the route Theos used to enter Sun and Shadow, and embarked on a long and arduous ascent back to the surface. You emerged in Ter Evron after days of tunneling through the rubble Theos had left behind, and when you stepped into the daylight, you were faced with a different Deerwood than the one you had left. At your direction, the essence gathered in Sun and Shadow was sent across Deerwood to meld with and galvanize the souls of its people. In the days that followed, Deerwoodans, confronting adversity and expecting to be at the mercy of their own weakness, instead found strength and the will to persevere. The aggrieved found themselves able to carry on after their losses. The desperate found new reasons to hope. And the new reasons to hope were many, for Widewind's legacy had come to an end after 15 years. Hollow births ceased in the Deerwood, and a country that only days ago had seemed on the brink of collapse was suddenly on the path to a recovery. A fitter, more resilient country in the preferred image of the god of the hunt.
There you go, yeah.
Though you had killed Lord Radric in his throne room, so strong was his drive to rid his land of Eothasians that he returned to life as a death god,
exactly.
a deathless crusader for his brutal cause. With the remains
Whoa,
of his humanity
this guy came
stripped
back
away,
as a...
Radric came to see all the people of Gilded Vale as worshippers of Eothas, and one day he led his forces into the village personally to see them all purged from his lands.
Oh, crap.
Gilded Vale was left a hollow shell, its buildings ruined, and its people slaughtered. Even travelers and would-be squatters knew better than to take refuge inside its borders. Lord Radric returned to Radric's Hold, where he remained, keeping eternal watch over his barren domain. Following the assassinations of Duke Avar Wolfgren and Lady Webb, Defiance Bay was thrown into political upheaval. In the ensuing weeks, the streets had become the domain of looters and blackguards. Few dared to step outside their own doors alone or unarmed. But order was soon re-established by the Knights of the Crucible,
okay,
who,
good.
despite their depleted numbers, had gained favor in the public eye for their role in the unraveling of the conspiracy surrounding Widewind's legacy, and were quickly reinforced by returning forces from Fleetbreaker Castle. For the Knights, their resurgence marked a return to the tradition as well. Having seen firsthand the dangers presented by dabblers in animancy, the Order quickly abolished the practice internally, preferring the familiarity of their hammers and forges to the uncertainties of Essence and Adra. Their identity rediscovered, the Knights suppressed their political aspirations and began once again to train their recruits in the art of blacksmithing, recapturing the post-revolutionary ideals of Deerwood and regaining the respect of its citizens as a result. The destruction of the machine atop Ter Noaneth spelled the end of the reanimated corpses in Heritage Hill. Though at first few were willing to venture into the abandoned district, it was soon cleaned out and rebuilt. The district's horrors still fresh in people's minds, it would be some time before it was fully repopulated. But eventually the lure of cheap prime land would all but erase the memory. The Duke's assassination at the apparent hands of an animancer had caused catastrophic rioting in the streets of Defiance Bay, and few animancers survived the first day. Many Deerwoodans took the end of Widewind's legacy as a sign, both that the gods did not approve of animancy, and that the purging of Animancers in Defiance Bay
boy.
had been enough to satisfy them.
Man, I may have
In time,
screwed Defiance Bay
their
up.
rage would subside, and a number of surviving Animancers remained in and around Defiance Bay, often taking to the wilds to practice their science.
I guess at least the Crucible Knights, I helped them like get back on the right
Abidon's
track.
renewal brought new vigor and purpose to a god long known for quiet, steady labor. Handicraft saw a revival in the Deerwood, and no smith wanted for an apprentice. Additionally, Abidon's restored interest in preservation led to redoubled efforts to survey Engwithan ruins. Animancers and craftsmen alike found much to study, but tensions with Air Glanfath rose. As for Stalwart, the Battle of Caron's Scar only strengthened their resolve to unlock the mysteries of Durgan steel and build new marvels with the White Forge. However, Stalwart's ambitions brought them into further conflict with the Raid Serens, as more and more impoverished
home?
communities gathered at the border
Alright.
and vowed to
Thanks for
finish the
stopping
work
by,
of
man.
the
I'll be,
Iron Thrall.
enjoy your start.
It would
I
be
probably
many
will start that tomorrow,
generations
so don't worry. You
before
won't
the
miss out on
region
anything
saw
if you want to
peace.
drop by then.
The battle against the
But
Isles
enjoy
left
your dinner.
Stalwart
Have a
more
great day.
hostile than ever toward the ogres in its midst, and the villagers grew bolder as they grew more prosperous. After a handful of bloody skirmishes, the Flames That Whisper clan left the Russet Wood to seek a quieter, more isolated home in the White March. While many such places existed in the mountains, the crossing was treacherous, and the ogres often found themselves embattled with other clans whose territory they passed. Less than half of the Flames That Whisper survived the journey, but those that did found a haven far from Kith lands. The fortress of Cadnua emerged as a bastion of security in the midst of an untamed land, becoming the envy of every Thane and Earl in Deerwood. Legend grew over time of its impregnability, and stories of formidable invaders easily scattered by the keep's defenses became popular around the hearths of Deerwoodinians. Likewise, it also became a beacon to travelers, merchants, and visiting dignitaries alike. Reputed as the finest fortress in all Deerwood, people would journey from near and distant lands alike to experience its fabled hospitality and grandeur. After the death of the Master below, a strange quiet fell over the endless paths of Adnua. The attacks on the fortress above ceased, Adnua's silent titan the closest remaining thing to a master in its musty, forgotten passages. Adair chose not to return home to Gilded Vale. Still most comfortable far from cities, he settled in Deerford, which, like many towns in the Deerwood, was beginning the slow process of rebuilding. Believing now that it was the obligation of Kith to be the leaders their gods had not, Adair was soon named mayor of the town.
Hey, good for
and
him.
under his guidance, Deerford soon began to prosper. He expelled the last of the Scanites from the area and drew new settlers with the offer of land, a trick he had learned from someone he otherwise preferred to forget. With each passing day, Deerford would come to more closely resemble the Gilded Vale of Adair's childhood, the one worthy of its name.
Hey, good for him.
When the dust settled in sun and shadow, Aloth looked upon the remains of Theos Ixarchanon, his former master. He saw where the Grand Master had gone wrong, and what would be required to undo the harm Theos had wrought. With a flick of his wrist, he burned Theos's robe, headdress, and every other symbol of the man's power. Never again, he vowed, should Kith live in fear and blind obedience to an authority they did not understand. Armed with the knowledge and courage he had gained on his journeys with the Watcher, he set out on the long and lonely task of dismantling the Leaden Key.
Good job, Olaf.
With the Watcher's goals accomplished and his own vows fulfilled, Kanarua sailed back to Dakoa. His friends and family found him much changed, for a pall had fallen upon the man, smothering his former enthusiasm.
Aw.
Called before the Lore College, Kana told them of the pain the Engwithan legacy brought to the lands abroad. He insisted that a search for answers abroad could only fragment the Rawatai people, as it had done to the Deerwood. His findings were met with much respect, and Kanarua's voice came to be considered an influential one in the growing move towards Rawatai's isolation. With Theos defeated and the souls released from sun and shadow, healthy children were born once again in the Deerwood. The grieving mother sought a place where she might do penance for the birthing bell. She returned to Deerford, where, to the astonishment of the villagers, she delivered the
Hey,
first
she's
healthy
working
child
with Eder.
in
That's
over
great.
a decade. She remained there, and with each new birth, she saw a measure of hope restored to the Deerwood, and a measure of grace for her own troubled past. Durrance continued to blame Woodica for the atrocities of the Saints' War. Believing Magrin to have been a pawn in the machinations of the Queen that was, and feeling that Theos's expulsion had been a step towards reconciliation with his goddess, Durrance tried for a time
Yeah,
to
never got to
reopen
finish his thing.
communication with her. When only silence came, he took it as a condemnation of his continued existence. Ultimately, he built a pyre and threw himself upon it, using his own shattered staff as kindling. In her 4-month journey back to Nositoc, Sagani found that the landscape she traveled had become strangely colorless, the food bland and unsatisfying. She watched the Deerwood, Air Glonfoth, the Valian Republics, and the lands beyond slide by with a dull sense of dread. She returned home to great celebration, yet the words of joy and congratulations rang hollow to her.
Aww.
Old beloved songs sounded toneless. The rituals of changing seasons became drudgery, and Sagani experienced her life back in Masuk as if in someone else's skin. So she fought to feel the worth of her actions, or at least to let her village feel them. She led ever longer and more ambitious hunts, mentoring the younger rangers who followed her. On one such expedition, her party was beset by a blizzard, and she pressed on where her companions turned back. She did not return to Masuk. For you, the death of Theos brought an end to your waking visions, and a silence to the whispers of the past. In their absence, you were able to sleep. The questions of a distant lifetime ceased to trouble your soul. All that remained was what to make of the answer. But at the moment, there was little to be done, and the matter would have to wait. A long journey loomed ahead.
And that is it from the looks of it. Alright. Well, that was pretty darn fun. Needless to say, we will probably be stopping the stream here. Tomorrow I will be back to do Path of Exile 2. We'll be starting that up. And this has been a blast. So I'm looking forward to starting up Path of Exile 2 and seeing what comes of that. If you missed any parts of this, you can always check it out. I always upload the streams to the YouTube channel. It should be listed down there somewhere if you want to catch up on any of them. But it has been fun, and I will see you tomorrow with the start of Path of Exile 2.